just a bit of a hiccup there. Oh, going 3, 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to FTN News Tonight. We just experienced a bit of a technical hiccup there. I thought we were live. Turns out we weren't. But tonight we have an exciting broadcast. Alex Jacobot is in studio. So is our very own John of Doom. He's gonna be our producer for tonight. Whoa, the camera's... Whoa, I went a bit too fast there. We have a lot of news to get to. We're going to start in Italy, including the presidential election, but we are going to... Oh, I got a notification on my phone, but I was gonna read the script off that anyway. We're going to start in Italy, where the Nationalist Party attempted to overthrow the government. The current president used to be the leader of that said Nationalist Party, but resigned after the party threatened to leave if he didn't resign. He complied, but shortly afterwards, the Nationalist Party, they overthrew the government. Oh, he didn't resign, actually. They threatened him. They also wanted to invade the neutral country of Sardinia. Mexico, Barbados, and the United States both publicly condemned the coup, and the UK and Russia have also condemned it. We're not going to head back home for just a second, because tomorrow is election day. I'm very excited to cover it. The presidential ballot has been released by clan manager Arunium. I don't know how to pronounce it. But the presidential ballot has been released. We're going to go over it now. This is the summer 2021 presidential ballot. In the Republican Party, we have Leo Vanik, of course, and then, of course, joining who's already here with us in studio he's running for the Constitutionalists. It's Alex Jacobot. There he is right there. We also have a few independents. We also have a few independents running, including Glorios, Solar General, Hux Download, Fuzz Mike 11, Syntax, and former DC Deputy Mayor Aki Chum. I just got this headset with a mic. Is the mic working properly? I just wanted to double check that. If someone's in chat can tell us. But either way, so yep, the presidential ballot has been released. For our next story, we're going to be heading down to Russia, where the president just resigned. Where's that? Okay. Valery Gerasimov, the president of the Russian Federation, has resigned following pressure from his prime minister Alexei Navalny. He decided to resign from the position of president of the Russian Federation. The president had a small yet good run before he resigned. He was immediately pressured by his prime minister and military chief of staff. Once he did resign, he stated in his resignation letter how he was pressured. So he's overall pressured. And it's sad to see that he was that two of his people who are supposed to be his political allies forced him to resign. Very, 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 very sad what's going on in Russia right now. I forgot to change the lower thirds. Okay, but now, after this commercial, we're now going to go for a bit of more of a rapid. We're now going to go rapid fire, and we're going to go with the rest of the stories for the night. First off, the United States, the Secretary of State reaffirmed the America's support for Kashmir's right of self-determination. And in Belgium, SSS1SS10QWQ, that's a stupid username, were appointed prime minister temporarily. He would govern in my name. He would govern in the normal prime minister's name, with all inquiries out of government scale, all foreign visit. And Britain also signed a treaty, and Britain signed a treaty with Armenia, and also in Britain. And also in British news today, they held a state visit with Thailand. The World Cup, this UN is holding a World Cup in Mexico. Vietnam announced they would be joining, and the U.S. is yet to announce if they are joining the World Cup or not. But if they are, we would be happy to stream it. But I don't know. We're actually trying to get the broadcast rights to the World Cup up, but we'll see. We're going to go to a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're with the one and only Alex J. Cabot. We'll be right back. We will be right back, folks. We'll be right back, folks.
Can you hear upstairs at all? Can you hear talking in the background? Yes, thank you, Jakers. We have received some breaking news in regards to Ridgeway. They could be voting tomorrow in the Noosa general election. A statement made by clan manager Arium in the Ridgeway County Discord server said, quote, I have asked for the prompts to register for presidential elections to be disabled. Please note that if you register for the election, you will not be put on the ballot. The registration process ended weeks ago. Though do note you will be able to vote for the president of Noosa tomorrow at 7 p.m. Last presidential election, Ridgeway citizens were not able to vote. In the federal election, they had to go to D.C., but it appears like they will be using a two-game system here for people to vote in both D.C. and Ridgeway. That is the breaking news I have at this moment. Toss it over to you and Alex.
Thank you for that, John. That is breaking news. Could have a tremendous effect on the election. I'm just hoping they bring back the percentages. It's hard to cover elections without knowing what is actually going on. So, I'm here with Alex J. Cabot, presidential candidate. Hello. Hello, Cabot.
Hello.
Okay, how...
Can you hear me?
Hey, yep. First off,
Good.
you've accused Leo Vanik of many things, like including leaking stuff in the U.S. military. I have not seen these leaks yet, but what did he leak exactly, and what did he leak exactly?
Well, I can't discuss precisely what was leaked because that's under a special prosecutor indictment. But he's accused of a great number of things, including leaking US military secrets and communications between the Joint Chiefs of Staff and their service members of the military, which is a very serious thing. And it's very peculiar why he's still running, because he's going to be ineligible for the presidency if he's convicted. He'll be disqualified as well.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Someone in your service also accused his VP of being a racist. What happened there?
Yes, we've seen a lot of evidence of Timid Saul being very racist and very derogatory towards lots of different people. They say it's satire, but no one believes them, and they just need to know that everyone is watching them. Everyone's watching them, their disgusting jokes, and how they're going to lose very big tomorrow.
This election is proven to be a very intense race. Many people, both sides have been saying that. You've said that if you lose the election, it would have been rigged. If you lose the election, will you concede?
Well, of course, we'll have to verify if everything went to plan, everything was lawful, and all regulations were abided by. But of course, I'll concede if that's the truth.
It is, also, many of the policies released by both campaigns have been in extremely long documents. Not many of them very long. Like, for your average person in news probably doesn't read them. So can you describe some of your policies in the simplest terms for the people here watching?
Yeah, for sure. Our diplomatic and foreign policy aims to put America back on the diplomatic greatness scale to ensure that we're no longer seen as a weak nation, we're no longer seen as warmongers, we're seen as an approachable nation and as a world leader, all states. And our intelligence policy, secures our nation. It reaffirms the belief that we should put more funding into our intelligence services, because countries, our enemies, are laughing at us, and they're laughing at how bad our intelligence services are at the moment. Then for our military policy, it's time that we stop shutting down departments like the Navy and all these other departments, and instead of shutting them down, we start rebuilding them and putting them back on track.
When you said that you want that you want to quote secure our secure our nation, how exactly will you do that?
Well, thank you for that question. It's very clear how we're going to do that. We're going to put a strong Office of the Director of National Intelligence leadership in place, and structure it in a way that there's no more bureaucracy, but instead there's secure intelligence sharing. Our intelligence agencies don't share information, and that is their main downfall. And we're going to pass legislation in a bill, if we win, that mandates intelligence sharing and gathering with all these agencies and their directors. We're going to convene the National Security Council once a week and on emergency occasions, and we're going to make sure that our State Department and Defence Department are included in the intelligence community in gathering work. Because our countries and our enemies are laughing at us, they think that we're weak, and it's time that we put America back on track, restore American greatness to our intelligence community.
Okay, so because of the inactivity crisis, DC has essentially become a playground for rogue police officers. Many of them going rogue, and you've had a first-hand experience at this at one of your rallies where like a bunch of attendees got FA'd or false arrested.
Yeah.
How will you work to prevent false arrests and abuse of tools and
Well,
abuses of power by law enforcement agencies?
yeah. Well, as I was the Attorney General, I helped Congress pass multiple laws to prohibit abuse and to ensure that negligent police officers were being prosecuted. As the DC Attorney General, I passed 3 criminal codes to ensure that our nation was protected from these rogues. And when I was in Congress, I passed the Federal Background Check Act to ensure that our federal agencies are following background checks to ensure there's no rogues. Obviously, they've not been following that law. They've been hiring mainly because they can't find any other people. That's crucial.
Yeah, I almost forgot about those background checks because when I got a job at when I got jobs at federal agencies, I don't remember getting a background check at all.
Yeah, it's very bad for our country, and it makes us look like a laughingstock. Even our own country's laughing at us. Ridgeway County's laughing at us, and it's time we stop being the laughing stock of the international community.
Okay, so for Ridgeway, how will you work to integrate the federal government into Ridgeway to make and bring these two communities together? Will you get that done in your administration? Do you plan on getting that done in your administration?
Well, absolutely, we will get it done. I'm great friends with the county executive and the leadership and the county board. We're going to work to put our federal agencies, a few federal agencies, we're going to try one at a time to integrate them and see where it's relevant and where it will work. We're going to start with the US Marshal Service, and we're going to get them fully LETC trained. We're going to get them fully LETC trained, and we're going to see if we can get them added for protection duties and other duties which they may be required in. And it's crucial that we ensure Ridgeway County is integrated into our federal government and vice versa. I will re-establish the Department of the Interior and appoint a Secretary of the Interior to handle all the recently given municipal departments, and then also to handle Ridgeway relations and appointments and all these other things. And that is how we're going to restore American greatness and integrate the governments together rather than having them as autonomous sovereign states.
Okay, okay. So I'm just gonna throw this quick one in there that this is what I've been hoping. I'm hoping the press corps and the press secretary have been inactive lately. This is just one that's important to me. But will you revive the White House press corps? How will you?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
You're cutting off a bit there.
Okay. Well, we're going to appoint an active press secretary. We're going to ensure that there are multiple media outlets that are registered. We're going to establish a national outlet. We're going to get the Ridgeway County service to come to our press call and participate. We're going to ensure there's lots of media and businesses which are able to register in the Department of Commerce and Labour to ensure that we promote activity, not just in-game, but in our other institutions, including the press corps. And we're going to ensure that other institutions which have been neglected, like Twitter, all these other things, we're going to bring them back, and we're going to ensure they come back better, and they come back to benefit the people of the United States.
Okay, and also I just want to... I have to plug something real quick. When you said talking about the Ridgeway County Service, good news. We're also starting one. We're going to be competing with them. Coming soon, guys. I just wanted to throw that in there. So, Kaba, we're going to focus on your opponent. we're gonna focus on DC for a second. The inactivity crisis has been getting worse and worse. Only time really DC has been active is when political candidates or clan management announces server startup. The last time clan management did that was in Las Vegas, I think a month or 2 months ago, or a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And also when when President Ralph tried to hold server startups, only 20 people would sometimes show up. It's for DC now. It's not continuous activity. It's always just spikes every now and then, sometimes once a week or even a few times in a month. So how will you ensure how will you bring back activity to DC and our nation's cities?
Well, there's multiple factors which are going to help us act as a kind of catalyst. Let's say we have the summer holidays, summer vacations coming back, so people are going to be off school. They're going to be more active on Roblox. They usually come back for these during the holidays, so that'll be something that we'll absolutely use to our advantage. And then obviously bringing active agents, skilled agents, people who can have fun, and people who aren't rogue, but they can treat this game as a game, not completely and utterly as a serious municipality, because that's what differentiates Ridgeway and DC and Las Vegas. The fact that Ridgeway is for more role-play invested people, whereas Las Vegas and DC, they're more integrated in the cops and robbers type of atmosphere. And we're going to bring we've got lots of criminal gangs who are ready to come back to DC if we win and fight law enforcement. And that's what makes our country active. Crime keeps us active, and then that in turn funds court systems, that then turn allows more activity in the courts, then it allows for martial law to be declared, and then we can bring in the USM. All these different things depend on activity, and we have a strong plan to bring back activity.
What are the exact details of this plan?
Well, it consists of 1, bringing back criminal gangs. Number 2, ensuring that we have lots of law enforcement officers, regular startups, training, integration in both Ridgeway County and vice versa. Then also involving ourselves in wars. Wars make our country active. They're not a bad thing. And they keep our country active. They keep all our military active. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to ensure that we enter into wars on the right side of things, also to keep our activity up.
Interesting, but earlier you said you didn't want the U.S. to be seen as warmongers in the international community, and then now you're saying war is okay.
Yes, there's a difference between being a warmonger who just goes into the wars for the sake of it and because we want to be seen as an aggressive, strong nation. I don't want that. I want to be seen as a diplomatic nation which aids countries which need our help, which there's currently an ongoing crisis with the New York state, Mayflower state, and the Firestone state, and we're going to involve ourselves in that, and we're going to see what side we have to pick.
Oh, so, there have been some international news lately that I wanted to get your opinion on. This includes the nationalist coup in Italy. What do you have to say about that?
We will always support democratically elected leaders over junta military leaders who have no say and no democratic voice in their legislatures. I'm sure the conflict will be resolved by the time the new president is sworn in, but if it isn't, we will pledge our full support to Italy's elected government.
So, yeah. Interesting. If let's focus. We're gonna go back because you've been very ruthless when it's come to Leovinik, and you've been very, very harsh. A lot of your campaign strategy just seems to be, let's talk about something dreadful my opponent has done. It works, but yeah. So
I think it's there being a fair combination of the two. We have to point out that someone is completely and utterly inept for the office which they're running for. Leo's utterly inept. He did nothing in the Congress, he did nothing as Speaker, and he's Speaker for the third time. He's the definition of the establishment deep state. He doesn't know what he's doing. But it's also us showcasing how we are better than that, how we can ensure that we install people who are better than that, and that's us. And I think that's why we've had such an outreaching community response.
So much is at stake in this election. So if there are any undecided voters, what would you say to viewers who have not decided who they are voting for yet? What do you say to them?
I say to look between the accomplishments of both our campaigns. I've achieved lots and lots of things. I fought for our judiciary in a way that no one has ever fought for the judiciary before. I've passed multiple laws in the Congress, and I've established 3 criminal codes in the city. I led as the Attorney General 7 times for the city and once as the US Attorney General. We have the experience, and we've passed the laws, and we've passed so much and done so much for DC, and now we're ready to bring it back up to the federal level and ensure that our country is no longer a nation in retreat, no longer a nation in decline, and we are back on track, and we're ready to restore American greatness as it was a long, long time ago.
So, if you were, unfortunately, we weren't able to set up a debate this time. We weren't able to get Leovinik to agree to it because I think he was concerned that it was not he was concerned mainly that the Federal Elections Commission wasn't involved. But if you were face to face with Leo right now, what would you tell him?
Tell him that he should drop out the race because he's completely, utterly moralless. He's got no morals. He's got no idea on what's going around him. He's a loser, Leo. He has no idea on how he's going to restore American greatness. He has no idea. All he does is help blacklisted individuals. All he does is campaign with blacklisted individuals and rejects of our community who have nothing but establishment experience. I'd also tell him good luck with the federal prosecution by that special prosecutor. I heard it's going to be a very, very tough fight.
Okay, so there is a lot there. So the election's coming up. I'm gonna allow. So can you maybe tell the people in your campaign I want to allow the public to submit a few questions before we go, because we're running low on time, so we're gonna wrap it up in a minute or two. But whoever in the chat, if you have any questions for Kabot, feel free to submit them right now. So okay. Okay, I don't think we have anything to. Well, there is so much here at stake in Noosa in this election. So, Kabot, we're gonna get going now. What do you have to say before you go?
If you want to see American greatness restored, if you want to see a prosperous United States, once again, you need to get out and vote for us. That's the only way it's going to change. You need to get out and vote at Ridgeway, or you need to get out and vote at DC. That's all I'm going to ask. Thanks.
Okay, thank you all for watching FTN News Tonight, and whoa, okay, the camera was a bit shaky there. Thank you all for watching. I'm Great Jakers 1113 with Alex, and also thank you to Alex Jacobot for joining us tonight and allowing us to interview him, and of course, thank you to our producer, tonight's producer, John of Doom. You did great tonight. Night. Good night, everybody.